Councillors, chief officers, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding to receive the worshipful, the Mayor of Knowsley, Councillor Jackie Harris.
Please be seated. Colleagues, welcome to this meeting and welcome to everyone in the public gallery. Can I remind everyone that all mobile phones should be turned off to silent for the duration of this meeting? And can I ask all members to ensure that they use their microphones? Please note that, as usual, the Council will be filming and recording this meeting. This will include people sitting in the public gallery, and a copy of the film will be uploaded to the Knowsley Council's YouTube site in due course, following this meeting. Can I also ask, refer to everyone in order papers that has been placed in front of them and on each seat in the public gallery. Colleagues, before we move to the first item of the business, I feel with much reference to the recent horrendous attack on the mosque in New Zealand, where 50 people have died, we take a silence and take a minute of silence for everyone and respect. Thank you, colleagues. Item 1. Are the minutes agreed? Item 1. Item 2. Declarations of interest. None received, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Item 3. Mail communications. Be noted, please. Item 3B. Recognition of community achievements. Can I invite Councillor Sean Donnelly to say a few words? Councillor Donnelly.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, I want to take this opportunity to recognise the staff from the Activity Based and Care Centre who are here this evening: Jenny Murphy, Kenny Parry, Jackie Heron, Lisa Calhoun, sorry if I said that wrong, and Amy Molly. These all provided assistance following an incident on the 20th of December 2018 where a young man was stabbed. The staff did an amazing job. They were alerted to the incident by a young man's friends. Together, each of them took on different roles in what was a shocking situation. They administered first aid to the young man and constantly reassured him and his friends, keeping them calm until the emergency services arrived. The staff also screened off the area, also not to cause alarm or offence to other service users or members of the public. Although the injuries of this young man was sustained were terrible, thankfully they were not life-threatening, and I am pleased to say that the actions of our staff present helped to ensure that he was made stable and received medical assistance as quickly as possible. Colleagues, can I ask you to join me in commending our staff who were involved for their swift actions in this horrific situation. Thank you very much on behalf of Knowsley Council.
the officers with a certificate in recognition of their contributions. My attendant will call you each of you up towards me to collect your achievements. Thank you.
So, Lisa Kilburn. Next is Jackie Hedden. Amy Malloy. Jenny Murphy. And Kenny Paddy.
Can I invite the leader of Councillor Graham Morgan to say the 3 words?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Colleagues, I'm sure you've all heard of St Anne Rovers Community Football Club. It was established in 1974 and it's open to children from the ages 7 and upwards. Over the years, the club has had over 7,000 players on its boots, and it's been a stepping stone for a number of professional and semi-professional players, including Tony Hibbert, who played for Everton, is now retired, and Paul Cook, who's now the manager of Wigan Athletic, and also Joey Barton, who's now the manager of Fleetwood Town. In addition, some players from the club's Dallas team now live in America and have gone on to fantastic careers over there. Instrumental to all this is Keith Skinley, who's here tonight with us. Keith has worked with the club for over 34 years. He's coached, he's able to referee, he's the club secretary, most probably cleans the kit as well. Keith does it all. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are, even with a knee replacement, which Keith had done this year, does not hold him back from giving up his time to support the club. But it's not just about football with Keith. Keith also looks after the pastoral side of some of the young lads over the years who might have been just going off the tracks, and Keith's brought them back in. So you've got to be congratulated with that as well, Keith. Well done. Colleagues, I'm sure you will agree that Keith has helped to provide a valuable service to the young people who live in our borough. And on behalf of us, I would like to thank him for his hard work and dedication to the young people of Knowsley. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I'd now like to invite you up to the front and represent you with this. Thank you. There's no couple questions have been received. Item 5, partners presentation updates on the work at CSR. Welcome to Leanne here, Chief Exec of Greystone, and I now invite Leanne to address the Council with presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My name is Leanne Hearn, and I've been in post. Which way? That way? I've been in post at First Arc for 4 months, and First Arc incorporates Knowsley Housing Trust. Many of you will know that there has been some improvements required since our regulatory downgrade, but I'm here to assure you that there has been significant improvements made in the last 6 months. We've had new governance arrangements that mean a new board has gone live from the 1st of April, and they were set up as of yesterday, which is led by a new chairman, Philip Braun, who has great experience in the social housing sector. We've also appointed a new permanent executive team following a period of interim executives, and have reduced that team from 7 to 4, specialists in focusing on the key areas that we're looking to target. The most important message I want to leave with you all today is that this moves us to put our core business back at the business at the core of our business, and that is that we will be having social housing, our social values and our social purpose as the key driver for all the work that we will do over the next few years. We know we have some improvements to make. We'll continue to do that around our policies, procedures and processes so that we can stabilise our organisation, embed those changes and have a solid foundation for the changes that we have planned for the coming years. We want to develop more properties, we want to develop our services even further, and most of all our focus is going to be on our customers. Social housing is about property and about people, and those are the two key areas that I'll be sharing with you that we're focusing from now. What are we doing with our customers? Well, we already have 6 antisocial behaviour officers in our business working in partnership with other agencies. But very recently we've chosen to develop our own provision in partnership with Knowsley Council, who themselves have a new approach to antisocial behaviour. We've also signed up to the Chartered Institute of Housing Make a Stand campaign, which seeks to challenge some of the issues surrounding domestic violence and work with partner associations and agencies in communities. We have an online care shop, and we have home services geared towards our independent living residents and people who are older and need support. We've also delivered over 3,000 social inclusion activity sessions, which helps to resolve some of the issues that arise from social isolation and from older people in our services. And for those customers that we work with who've got challenges around finance, we have supported them to maximise their benefits to the tune of 2.37 million in the last year. Our charity, One Arc and Social Investment Fund, First Arc Social Investment, aims to support programmes across Knowsley, and these focus on employment programmes, giving skills and education, setting up and helping support new businesses, giving wellbeing, financial and digital inclusion advice and guidance to residents across the borough. We've also improved the health and wellbeing for those of our customers that are in independent living, and in fact recently we conducted a survey of those who are our residents in independent living properties, and 72% of them said that the work that we have done with them has made them believe that their health and wellbeing has improved since they came to us. Our overall customer satisfaction sits at 98.6%, which is high, but we still have challenges and we're still focused on improving that. And the big challenge that we face is that we have £4.7 million worth of arrears in our business. That presents us with a business challenge, but equally it highlights the issues of the borough. We found that 82% of our customers who are receiving universal credit are in arrears. Recently we saw a 57% increase in food bank vouchers given. And we also saw a 55% increase in referrals to emergency support, which clearly has an impact on the local authority and the local services. In our properties, we have traditionally seen in the sector there's been an average of £1,600 invested in a property per year. What we have done in the last 12 months is invested £1,700 per year, but we don't think that's enough. We have some old properties that we need to invest in further. So as of the 1st of April, the new budget will have £24.5 million invested in it, which comes to around £1,800 per property per year, and we'll continue to invest that amount of money for the next 2 to 3 years. We've also got a performance drive on empty homes, and we recognise that we haven't been brilliant in our service in turning around empty properties quickly, and we're seeking to improve that quite quickly. We've already made some improvements in that area. We have had our emergency repairs completed within 24 hours at 100%, and we've got a first-time fix at 98.75%. Both of those are good statistics, but we know we're not consistently good, and that's the area we're looking at. For our development in Knowsley, we had a target to develop 300 properties per year, and we haven't actually delivered that this year. What we actually delivered was 105 homes completed, with 58 more on site. But we want to make sure that we continue to focus on the target that we set, and next year we'll continue to have a target of 300 homes. We will be seeking planning consent shortly for phase 2 of our extra care scheme in the Watch Factory, which will deliver a further 190 homes at that development. Since I've been in post, one of the things that has really struck me about the team at First Arc is the staff. They remain dedicated, diligent, they work hard, and they really do want to make a difference, irrelevant of the issues that we've faced. There are a good bunch of people who want to do good things. So I've made sure that we've kept our focus and our direction simple and clear for the coming years so that they know what they've got to do. As part of that refocus of the executive team, I've appointed a new Executive Director of Customer Insight so that we can focus strongly on what we do with customers, and a second post, an Executive Director of Property, so that we can put all our property services into one directorate so we can focus again on what we're doing, streamlined for the years ahead. We already have a really good reputation for what we do with apprenticeships, and we've focused a lot on young people, so much so that in the last financial year we had 52 apprentices. And since September, we've recruited 18 more new ones, delivering over 2,000 hours of classroom training to those apprentices. But we want to do some more. 66 of our staff have moved into new roles, 37 of them have got professional qualifications, and what that means is we have focused a lot on developing our own, with the people who work and live locally to Knowsley. I recently spent some time with our operatives over the last few days, and was delighted to find that I met people who had worked with us for over 37 years and had started as apprentices. So 7 of the people that I met over the last 4 days were all originally apprentices, some with us 22 years, 27 years and 34 years. It tells me that we're doing something good and we'd like to build further on that. Back to the impact in Knowsley. So these are the figures that come from our First Arc charities. And these are figures that specifically apply just to the Knowsley Borough. So I've already said we have 52 apprentices, but in the last year we've helped 31 people into long-term fair wage jobs. We helped 21 businesses either set up from scratch or develop further by helping to invest and advise. We've supported 204 people to improve their health, 235 to undertake further education, and 172 people across the borough to be digitally included. But that was last year. There's more work to do in our communities, and I'm acutely aware that there's more work to do in the business, and it's important for me and the team to keep focused, keep the business simple, and achieve the targets that we set. So these are the things that we have for the next year. The big target is a customer focus, and that means that we want to do engagement that's meaningful, that represents the whole of our resident base, not just an area of it. We want to look at the services that we provide, see what we can revise, look at what trends and analysis we can get from our complaints and compliments to see if there's anything that we can learn from that. And in light of the Green Paper, we're going to invest even better in our customer-led scrutiny and improvements that come from that so that we can get true customer involvement to help us shape and design what services they want and need. We're looking at developments in borough. We've already said that apprenticeships is one area that we're strong at. We want to build on that strength and do more around education that's role-based. We look at regeneration and focusing on the communities, and strong partnerships and developing them either better or more often. We're seeking to improve our relationships with the community and communication with our local councillors. I've got a busy year ahead. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of ambition in the business, and I've got a lot of ambition to make it work. I know it's a big task, but we're only taking one year at a time. So thank you. I look forward to working in partnership with Knowsley and with Knowsley Borough Council, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Leanne, for that. Can I now say there is some questions, but it is not a surgery. So if you've got any issues to ask on, ask the question, but don't deliver a surgery. Leanne won't know them answers, so please just ask the question. Right, Ken and Tony first, and then
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And thanks very much for the presentation, Leanne, and welcome to your job. I'm sure everyone in this room wishes you well because, you know, we all, our main aim is people. You deal with people, our constituents are people, so we all need that. I know when we started KHT about 20 years ago, we had 5 councillors on the board, 5 residents on the board, and 5 professionals, independent. That seems to have drifted now, it's gone. And of course, well, most of our work as councillors, surgery work, is KHT. Even this afternoon I got one, I won't mention it because it's a surgery case, about Property Pool Plus. But you did mention about your staff and the time they've been there. Unfortunately, that can't be said of your senior executive staff, because there's very few of them know anything other than about 6 to 12 months of what happened. And you know, this, historically, you need to know that. So I hope and trust you'll get a good support staff around you, because that's what you need. So I'll say, I welcome you. I hope we'll have a chat sometime to discuss. And again, you started off as a partnership. Let's hope we can regain that partnership with the Council and KHC. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Leanne, we'll just take the questions and then we can answer to you. Tony?
Thanks, Chair. Welcome, Leanne. Just in terms of the Knowsley consultation group, as you know, we have the Knowsley consultation group, which is key councillors from each of the 4 areas meet with your officers, and I'd say that it's been a good step forward in terms of how we can start to align and support each other around that particular work, and there's been some good work that's come from that. But in terms of supporting your agenda and ours, I think it's important that it has teeth. So I want to see that as we move forward in the future, how we can develop that teeth, and for the benefit for you in terms of your objectives and our objectives as well. So just like your thoughts on that, please.
Gary?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to, first of all, say, I think when Bob's been here in the past, I've always raised the question about the relationship with elected members, and in particular on behalf of the communities that we represent. The business that you do is valuable to those who are tenants of yours, and actually we should always be the last resort of getting in contact to sort out issues. I feel absolutely comforted that what you've done in 4 months is more than I've experienced with KHT in probably 4 years. And I think if that's anything to go by, the business can only go in one direction, and that's in a very good direction. And I say that on behalf of the communities that we represent, because they do deserve some of the best housing, some of the best properties, and they should never have to come to us about an issue with KHT, although they'll usually still think it's the Corby's housing and it's our fault. I do hope that the relationship can be built on, it can be a much more positive one, and not to get into a surgery issue, but I can only speak of getting in touch with a senior officer a couple of weeks ago and seeing the difference that's made since you've been in post. And I speak probably on behalf of all the residents that have faced many frustrations with KHT over many years, that things will now get done. And my last point, Madam Mayor, is that not only are our communities important, the relationships important, but what KHT delivers is important. And I still have some frustration and hesitation that we have First Arc, Vivar, many different companies that all seem to do the same thing but miss one point, which is the people that live in those properties. And I hope that KHT can go back to what it was originally and should have been all about, which was the people that live in those properties, not a number of companies that were out to self-serve and develop housing in Cheshire and Manchester and everywhere else other than the borough where it started. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Gary. Can we have just answers to them three, and we've got a couple more on to speak to them.
Okay. Thank you all. I've gone a bit red, so thank you very much for the positive feedback. I absolutely welcome the relationship developments, and the Knowsley consultation panel I see as very important. In fact, only yesterday when we had the first induction day for our board members, we included Knowsley consultation panel as part of the induction programme to demonstrate how the council and our team can work together. And also we discussed the best way of fielding the right people in that room, so that when you've got specific issues, we can bring people to the table. So that will take some time to develop, Terry, I know that, but that's our intention, and it's my intention. As regards the company structure, without going into very complicated details, because trust me, it's taken me 4 months, and I don't still think I've completely grasped where the money is coming around the organisation. But what I can say is the phase 1 of the change programme has been around the governance arrangements. So we've got one single board, not 7 boards, one audit risking committee, not 7, and we've got 12 board members that go across the whole piece, not 7 separate boards with 8 or 9 members on each one. So that's the first change. The phase 2 of that will be the constitutional change in those organisations and the company structure. That takes legal people far cleverer than me, and that will take a little longer. We will always have something like One Arc as a charity, because that's the stuff that enables us to do good stuff in the community that social housing can no longer survive on or afford to go on its own. And we'll have some form of maintenance organisation, but the constitution, the way it's set up, will work out the best way, and it's the most tax efficient way as well, so we can get the best for the money. But simple is better in my language. I'm a simple girl from the Midlands, so I like to keep it simple, so we will be doing something about the structure.
Thank you, Leanne. Can we have Kerry now, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Leanne, as you know, I am on the consultation panel as well, formerly on the KHT board. I welcome and endorse the comments of Councillor Tony Brennan. Since you've arrived, it's been a breath of fresh air, and we certainly seem to be moving along the right lines. In the presentation that you made, don't expect you to be political, but there was elements in there that I can't ignore. The increase in universal credit arrears and the increase in the food bank is something the Labour Party predicted, and we find horrifying. So my question is, even though I don't expect you to be political, is there any end to it, and can you see a way around it in the end? Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Got one more to ask a question about. Carl, question,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My point was actually summed up very well by Councillor C. I just wanted to mention about the dedicated email. That's the only thing I've added to that, and it's been very helpful. There's just a few issues still around the response time to that. I think there was an email that I sent out not so long ago. It took 48 hours to come back. I understand that there's the busyness there and the turnaround is difficult, but just wanted to mention that. And also wanted to be specific about what is being done in terms of the turnaround for those empty homes as well.
Thank you for the question. Anybody else got any questions to ask Leanne? No? Can we thank Leanne and... Oh, sorry. Oh.
Thank you. In answer to the question, you're absolutely right, I'm not political, and I don't know the answer. But what I do know is that we don't see an end to poverty in this area. There will be different types of poverty and different types of needs, whether it be social isolation or whether it be actual financial poverty. And all we will do is continue to develop services, continue to find ways that we can work with other organisations to try and find solutions for people and for people at heart what we do. And in answer to your question, I will look at the turnaround. We do have a compliance procedure that says exactly how long it is, so I'll find out and make sure I come back to you.
And then just about the
Oh, yes, so yes, we're doing quite a lot of work on that. So we've actually reduced that by 40% in the last 4 weeks, and it's still bullish, and we need to do more work on it, and I expect that will take some time to change the thought processes and review the way we work, but the improvements are encouraging and indicative of what can we do. So there's a bit of pressure on the teams to make sure we get that improved in the next 3 months, and we set a new target that was signed up by the board to deliver at the time. Okay.
Thank you, Leanne. Sorry about that. Just getting on with it. Okay, thank you. Can we thank Leanne for coming along tonight and taking some questions? Thank you, colleagues. Item 6, joint authorities and combined authorities. We have no questions on that. Councillor Paul Cashman, I wish you just to ask a question.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Last year, the Mayor attended the Dallas Cup in the USA at a cost of over £3,000 to the taxpayer. Will the council be sending the Mayor again this year?
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could I ask Councillor Jenny Knowsley to respond to the question? Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I thank the leader and also thank Councillor Cashman for this question. I can confirm that the Mayor of Knowsley will not be attending the Dallas Cup this year. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Cashman,
No, that's it. Thank you very much, Councillor Ashton.
Thank you. Councillor Cashman, do you have another question?
Very straight to the point, that, Madam Mayor. This one might be a little bit longer. Do appreciate that we all want to go home now. So with the announcement from the PCC that she won't seek re-election in 2020, will the leader make representations with the Metro Mayor to the government to absorb the PCC powers into the office of the Metro Mayor and save the council taxpayer forking out for a large salary?
Thank you. Councillor Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Cashman, for coming round to our way of thinking on this issue. Colleagues, I hope you don't mind me spending a short time in a little history lesson. Those who've been on the council for a while will remember that we used to nominate councillors to serve on the Merseyside Police Authority. But in the run-up to the 2010 general election, both the Tories and the Liberal Democrats stated in their manifestos that they would abolish those police authorities and instead concentrate power in the hands of a single police and crime commissioner. Another example of the fact that you sometimes can't tell the difference between the Tories and the Lib Dems. As we know, they then did a deal with the former coalition government, which did all kinds of damage to the country and to Knowsley. One of the things that they did was abolish the police authority and replace it with a commissioner. So perhaps Councillor Cash will now realise what I meant when I'm glad he's coming round to our way of thinking. I'm sure he'd be also interested to hear about the numerous other things which the coalition did, which now we wish they hadn't. I should point out there is a slight practical problem in Councillor Cashman's suggestion because the Metro Mayor covers the Liverpool City region, which includes Halton, and the Police Crime Commissioner covers Merseyside, which doesn't include Halton. That's another example of the Tories not being able to set things up properly, and if you ask me, but I'm sure that there is always a way around that issue. I would have hoped that Councillor Cashman would have spotted that problem when he stood successfully for the election of the Metro Mayor, but perhaps he missed that one. Colleagues, given the mess that they've made of things, I don't think we should take any lessons or suggestions on how to run public services from the Tories or the Lib Dems. In fact, in my role as the City Region's Combined Authority, I have long now called for the Metro Mayor to be given the Police and Crime Commissioner's powers, and I will continue to do so. Thank you, colleagues.
Councillor Cashman, would you like to ask a supplementary question?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, I think we know the reason that we had that shabby deal in the first place is because Labour couldn't be bothered to negotiate anything half decent with the government, really. We look at Manchester over the road, they got a far better deal with us than us. So maybe
Cashman, can I ask you to respond to the issue we're speaking about, please?
I've got nothing further to add, Madam Mayor, other than I hope that he speeds things along and that we can have those powers in one place.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Councillor Louise Arbour, please, to ask a question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we reach the end of this current municipal year, can I ask the leader to advise us of the progress made by the council during this period?
Mr Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thanks also to Councillor Harbour for giving me the opportunity to summarise another successful year for our Labour Council. I want to spend some time summarising, as briefly as I can, the excellent work that's been led by my Cabinet colleagues on behalf of the Labour Group. To be honest, I could probably talk all night of how well we have done this year. And despite the continual challenges coming out as a result of the current government's complete failure to do its job, whether that's the failure to manage the Brexit situation properly, the failure to protect local communities by making proper arrangements to keep law and order, or the failure to recognise that some people are more vulnerable than others and therefore need more support. I'm sure you can all think of these failures. The simple fact is it's about time that they stepped aside and let a Labour government in. But before I go on to the positives, let's just make a moment to remember where the failures started. And I'm talking about, of course, the coalition government during which the Liberal Democrats did nothing at all to hold the Tories back. And look where the country is now. So we are fortunate that the people in Knowsley see their best hopes lie with a Labour council. And what a great job we are doing in the face of those national challenges. Just a couple of weeks ago, Councillor Ashton led us through a budget meeting which resulted in a balanced budget and a package of investments in key services. Since the study started in 2010, we have lost over half the funding we used to get from governments, but we are standing up for the vulnerable. We have done that by reshaping our service and being prepared to take tough decisions. It's called leadership. We have to take the job seriously and we work hard on the big decisions. There's so much being the councillor that's turning up every now and then, ask a question, then write a leaflet about it. Councillor Ashton has also taken the lead for us on the industrial relations side of things. We continue to maintain in-house services and employ local people as far as we can. And we want to work alongside our trade union colleagues to make sure our services are efficient as they can be. Turning to adult social care, Councillor Sean Donnelly has taken up this post during the last year to a position whereby one of our most challenging budget areas is close to being under control as possible. Again, we are delivering high quality services to some of our most vulnerable people, and in doing that we have not been afraid to embrace new approaches. We are doing more than ever before to actually understand what the people want and give them that flexibility to get just that. In many cases, people want new and different services, so we redesign those services alongside the people who are using them. That's what Knowsley Better Together is all about, helping service users design their own support. Only to completely ignorant could call that an attack on local services. And I'm pleased that our children's services have continued to get better over the last year. Councillor Maggie Harvey has built on the progress made in recent years, and the latest Ofsted monitoring visit confirmed that an effective leadership is making a real difference as to how we look after our vulnerable children. Now that we have a strong base to build on, we are tackling even harder challenges by making positive changes to the way we engage with local schools and reviewing the support we provide to young people with special education needs and disabilities. Again, all of our focus is on protecting the most vulnerable people in our society. Turning to community and neighbourhoods, we took a major decision this year after listening to what our communities wanted. Of course, I'm talking about the future of our boroughs, parks and green spaces. We still do face a challenge in finding money to obtain those green spaces, and Councillor Shelley Powell has been leading the way to see how we might, with partners, come up with new ways to protect them. But I'm sure that the local people can see that they can trust their leadership, not least that led to the efforts to keep Bowen Park and saved the golf course. And of course, we're also protecting our vulnerable people in that portfolio area, not least investing in new ways to address antisocial behaviour, which is one of the investments we agreed with recently, despite the Liberal Democrats voting against it. And in terms of regeneration, colleagues, we've had another excellent year. Despite the Liberal Democrats voting against pretty much every private sector investment in the town, this Labour Council has led the regeneration of the town by investing our money, attracting and supporting investment, and then protecting community and assets like Prescott Cables Football Club. The town of Prescott has a bright future, and it was Knowsley Council which brought that future about. The wider borough of Knowsley has also seen a positive place to invest, and people are rushing to invest in Knowsley, whether that is current businesses looking to expand, businesses looking to move to the borough to start up in Knowsley, or people who want to make their homes here. We are truly the envy of many places across the region, and I am grateful for the leadership of Councillor Brennan in that particular portfolio area. Madam Mayor, it's been an excellent year. As well as the Cabinet members I have mentioned, every other Labour councillor has done an excellent job. They turn up every meeting, they represented as well on the outside bodies, but I haven't got enough time to mention everything that they've done here tonight. We face massive challenges, but we have so much to be proud of and so much to celebrate. It's called leadership, and that's what we are doing for every resident of Knowsley. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Would you like to ask a supplementary question? You're able to be speech.
I'd like to thank you for that full response. But I think it also needs to be said after that, you know, it's clear that there's been some advancements and successes this year, and it has to be said that in that respect, we'd like to thank the leader for his inclusive approach to leadership this year and his upright stance in leadership over the past year. So I'm sure this will be echoed by the other members.
Thank you, Councillor. Colleagues, I have no further items of business other than to thank everyone who attended the Mayor's Charity Ball, and also the staff involved for their hard work all day and night. I'm pleased to report that we raised in the region of £4,500. Can I thank you all for your attendance? I am now declaring the meeting closed. Thank you.
Please be upstanding for the Mayor.